Is Joey Tribbiani the best friend of all? A lot of people seem to think so. So in this video, we're going to talk about why. Hi everyone, I'm Rosie Blythe. I'm the author of the Princess Guide to Life book series, which you should check out, by the way. It's really good. And on this channel, we talk about everything from spirituality to living on a boat to entertainment. And today I'm continuing my little mini series on Friends and why each of the characters is both the best and the worst. We've already covered why Joey is the worst friend, and there were some unexpected surprises in that video, I think. So today I want to talk about his redeeming features. And you may think my hair looks faintly ridiculous, but I was thinking Joey has this real whimsical side. I feel like he would like bunny rabbit hair bobbles, so here we are. I love watching the Friends bloopers, they really make me laugh, but one of the funniest things to me is how Matt LeBlanc changes when he's not Joey. It's like a light goes on behind his eyes and he becomes this like intelligent person, so it just shows what a good actor he is. Matt LeBlanc just seems like a really chill person. Like at the reunion, he just became everyone's favourite uncle, just sitting back and enjoying the atmosphere. And I think actually one of the reasons why they wrote Joey kind of dumber and dumber as they went on was because he just played it so well and it was so funny when he did it.
And it's a book! Oh, it's Dr. Seuss!
That book got me through some tough times.
There is a little child inside this man.
Yes, the doctors say if they remove it, he'll die.
So in my video for why Joey is the worst friend, I did mention him being a man-child. And he is childish, but I actually think that that childlike sweetness is one of the most endearing things about Joey. Having Joey around is kind of like having an 11-year-old hang out with you. Like, they find the most childish things hilarious. You know that you can make them laugh with like pull my finger jokes. And Joey's idea of a good time is like hiding in a box and jumping out to scare Chandler, which I actually think this is so sweet.
Joe? Well, I guess Joey went home. Oh, and look, there is still one box that I have to unpack. Oh my God, you almost gave me a heart attack.
Oh, well, it was so hard not to laugh.
And while he does kind of shy away from the girliness of having a female flatmate who brings potpourri into the home and pictures and clean dry towels, he actually ends up kind of being converted.
All right, I can make my peace with the clean, dry towels. And okay, also, what is with these chips you bought?
No. It's potpourri. You're supposed to smell it.
Well, that's like summer in a bowl.
And again, it's very sweet. I think he is like a child. He likes hanging out and doing craft with Elle Macpherson, and who wouldn't, really?
Hey, Chandler. Come on in, we're knitting pot holders.
I love that he's just simple. It doesn't take a lot to make him laugh.
Joey, it's a birthday party.
Yeah, but for a 1-year-old, what's the point? The other day, she laughed for like an hour at a cup. Just a cup with a picture of Elmo on it, dressed as a farmer. And he's standing next to this cow, and the cow says, El Moo. Yeah. That's a funny cup.
And I think it's sad that in reality people do laugh and act condescendingly towards people who have Joey's kind of childlike sense of wonder and his ability to take pleasure in really small things. But he has more fun in life, so he's really winning here.
Wow! It's like they're on fire! Some kid told me about this sea turtle, and if you blow bubbles in his face, he chases you.
We also have this narrative about Joey having some much-loved toys. For instance, his Cabbage Patch doll, which features here.
I went through the exact same thing with Alicia Mae Emery. The waiting, the wondering. Then one day, I get that call from Toys R Us. She was in stock.
Where am I gonna get a cowgirl outfit on Thanksgiving.
Well, I was thinking.
Take the clothes off Joey's Cabbage Patch Kid!
Yeah.
Wait a second. Where have I seen that cowgirl outfit before?
Oh, that's Alicia Mae Emery's outfit!
You guys, there are people in there who are not getting any happier.
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
Well, I don't know. You guys figure it out. I gotta put Emma down for a nap.
All right, Rach, while you're in there, throw something on Alicia Mae.
And Hugsy, his penguin toy.
Well, you don't know about Hugsy, my bedtime penguin pal.
Now, we talked about Hugsy in the previous video of why Rachel is the worst friend, because she just decides that she's entitled to take the toy for her daughter because that's more age appropriate. I think that Joey is perfectly entitled to have cuddly toys if he wants to. I'm kind of assuming that he hides the toys away though when women come over, because we don't have any kind of comedic conversations about women saying, you know, why do you have a Cabbage Patch toy in your room? But he's comfortable enough with his friends that once the secret is out about Hugsy, he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to tell people, and that's fine. And I think a lot of people have critiqued this and said that Joey just gets sillier and sillier, and in the later seasons it's kind of ridiculous. He's got Cabbage Patch dolls and stuff. But if you think about the fact that it was the first season where he gives Rachel a Dr. Seuss book, he's pretty much the same. He's always been this childlike person, and maybe he just gets less worried about hiding it. So Joey does not push his luck with women, and I think this is really interesting because we did kind of a deep dive into his womanizing and his alleged fantasticness as a lover in the last video. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to check it out. The really cool thing about Joey is when a woman does reject him, he doesn't care.
How you doing?
Very busy.
Right, okay.
Like, it doesn't matter how attractive you are and how sexy and how easy it is for you to get dates, you're going to strike out sometimes. And that doesn't mean anything about you, it's just that person didn't fancy you.
And well, how about this one? Testing the effects of Joey Tribbiani on attractive nurse receptionist.
We already got the results back on that one, and they're not good.
So obviously when Friends was first running in the 90s, this wouldn't have been a thing, but now we have the internet where people share stories all the time. So now we get this insight into other people's dating lives that we wouldn't have in the 90s outside of, you know, our friendship groups or maybe a magazine story or something. So we see people share screenshots of abusive messages that they've had when they've just very politely replied to somebody and said, actually, I'm not really feeling it. I think I'll skip the, you know, the next date that we had arranged, or no, I don't think I want to meet you for that first date or whatever. And the rage that comes through from people who've been rejected is unbelievable. And, you know, when someone does that, what they're saying is, first of all, they were feeling that pretty deeply, even if they haven't met the person yet. They're like, oh, I thought you were going to be the love of my life and I'm so angry now. Well, obviously, they were valuing that, you know, person they've never even met before. And I know it's a very common complaint that guys want to basically, like, you just start texting with a guy, you know, you perhaps connected on online dating or whatever, and you start texting, and then they're like demanding your time, and they're like, why haven't you responded yet? And it's like, you're not the biggest thing in my life, dude. I've never even met you. Like, why would I have dropped all of my other stuff just so I can text you back? If they get really angry, like, they're telling you they didn't have any other options. They're that invested in something. Joey is not invested in any of these women that he just meets, so why would he care? And you could argue that it's down to shallowness, that Joey isn't interested in investing time and effort into making a real connection with these women.
What about the closeness?
Closeness, schmoseness. There was 3 of us, for crying out loud.
I think Joey is just like, there's going to be another woman along in 5 minutes who will find me attractive, so why would I give a crap if this one woman is saying no thank you? And I think a lot of guys could really take a leaf out of his book with that. Like, you don't need to get angry with someone for rejecting you. It's like, it's not that big a deal. Just move on. Let it go.
You're leaving too?
I'll stay if you can tell me my name.
Have a good night.
And the reason that Joey can be so cool about this and just let things go is because his success rate is so high. So ironically, being fine with being rejected actually makes Joey more attractive. So Joey does have morals. He does live by a moral code. He does hit on his female friends, there's no denying that. But if any of them actually said, that's making me feel uncomfortable, can you stop? I have no doubt he would stop straight away. Because as we've seen, he doesn't need the attention from women. He can find it anywhere. So he cares that Rachel is drunk in Vegas. He does not want her going out in that state. He wants her to be just like nice and safe in the hotel room with Ross, that's fine. But don't let her drink anymore.
Hey, Rach. How you doing?
I'm doing good, baby. How you doing?
Ross, don't let her drink anymore.
Which I think is very nice, because it's not often, I think that's the only time actually that one of the guys kind of says like, oh, maybe don't drink anymore to one of the female friends, which is quite a sweet and caring thing to say. I think one of the key moments in Joey and Phoebe's friendship is when the friends get Ursula's adult video and they think it's Phoebe, they think it's their friend.
Phoebe Buffet in Buffet the Vampire Lair.
I know that they have no boundaries, but I can't imagine if one of my friends was in a video like that. I don't think I'd want to see it. I don't think I would. Do you think that's weird, or is it just me who's prudish? Yeah, but Joey is like, I'm not going to watch that because it's Phoebe.
I better take that back.
Well, why?
We can't watch that. I mean, that's Phoebe.
Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't watch this.
Absolutely not. That goes back.
You know, maybe a little bit. How about just the first half?
Hey, no, this is wrong, you guys. Phoebe's our friend. But I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, good for you, Joe.
You sick bastards.
And okay, so this goes out the window when he finds out it's Ursula rather than Phoebe, but it's still a nice gesture towards the woman he's actually friends with.
That's a Phoebe. That is Ursula.
I can watch that. Rewind it.
I think the fact that he respects his friend Phoebe enough that he's like, I'm not going to watch that without her knowledge and consent, I think that's pretty admirable, actually. And so when Joey finds out his dad is having an affair, that turns his world upside down.
Miss you too. I love you, but it's getting real late now.
Hey, Ma. Listen, I made the appointment with Dr. Bazita and... Excuse me? Did you know this isn't Ma?
Because he's obviously grown up in a pretty stable family, maybe a little chaotic. But loving, and, you know, mum and dad together. He never sees them at Thanksgiving, but we'll let that one go because it's writing. But he does come from this pretty stable family, so it does throw him into turmoil when he finds out his dad's cheating.
Starting tomorrow, you got to make a change. 6 years is long enough.
What kind of change?
Well, either you break it off with Ronnie...
I can't do that.
Then you got to come clean with Ma. This is not right.
Yeah, but this
I don't want to hear it. Now go to my room.
It really makes him question everything about, you know, his parents, his family, the morals he's been raised with, and how that affects him and the way that he's going to go forward. So he's kind of a deep thinker, more than you might think.
I'm always going out with all these women. Because I always figured when the right one comes along, I'll be able to be a stand-up guy and go the distance, you know? I'm looking at my dad thinking...
Hey, you're not him. You're you. And I'd like to believe that when the right woman comes along, you will have the courage and the guts to say, no thanks, I'm married.
And leading on from that, when Chandler is seeing Janice while she's separated from her husband, it's Joey who kind of sits him down and says, look, there's a kid involved. You need to bow out of this.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. You know, what would you do?
Doesn't matter what I do.
Come on, tell me.
All right, you're probably not going to want to hear this, but if it was me, and this is just me, I would bow out.
What? What are you talking about?
They have a kid together, you know? They're like a family. And if, I don't know, if there's a chance they can make that work, I know I wouldn't want to be the guy who stood in the way of that.
And it's, you know, that's quite a hard conversation to have. And I think in this day and age, not to sound like a grandmother, but I think there's so much like, oh, we listen and we don't judge. Like, sometimes you have to judge. Sometimes it's okay to say, actually, if a married couple with a kid have a chance at getting back together, then yeah, you should step back and let that family try and stay together. You being stuck in the middle of that is not the right thing to do. So Joey's actually a really good friend to Chandler. Joey doesn't take advantage of women when they're asleep. I shouldn't need to use this as an example of a good guy because it should be obvious, but I think for some people it isn't. But when Joey is faced with a woman he likes being passed out drunk, he just leaves her in peace to sleep it off. And again, when men know they can attract women, they have no need to take advantage of anyone who isn't 100% enthusiastically into them.
Good night, Kate. Sweet dreams. I'm gonna put this can right here in case you have to hurl.
I'm kind of having a little problem.
Look, if you don't know what the word acrimonious means, just don't use it.
Joey, I think, didn't do well in school because we know that he didn't go to college, and we know he kind of didn't really go to high school. So I don't think he graduated high school. I suppose it is because he isn't particularly bright. I think it is like an IQ issue with him. So he maybe fell behind in school. I keep getting a little bit carried away in these videos where I start like analysing what happened in their childhoods. So he's missed out on a lot of education. And I think a lot of people, you know, school is such a fixed way of doing things and it doesn't suit everybody's learning styles, and it's a shame that we can't all have like individually tailored, you know, educations that will kind of give us knowledge on the things that we're interested in. But it is what it is. But Joey, even though he didn't do well in school, he now really wants to make up for that. And the fact that he can't keep up with the other friends when they're talking about stuff, and that makes him want to become equal to them. I think that's actually quite cool because he's not trying to drag them down like, oh, why are you talking about politics? He wants to join in. He wants to better himself.
Do you currently own a set of encyclopedias? Do your friends ever have a conversation and you just nod along even though you're not really sure what they're talking about?
I'm telling you, it's totally unconstitutional.
I totally agree.
It is. Yeah.
I think he deserves a Nobel Prize.
Oh, no!
I mean, it was like the Algonquin kids' table.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You haven't said anything for about 2.5 minutes. Are you at all interested?
Yeah, well, yeah.
For $50, you can get one book. What'll it be? A, B, C?
I think I'm gonna stick with the V. I want to see how this bad boy turns out. It's a good thing you got out when you did, before she blew up like that Vesuvius.
The volcano?
Yeah. And speaking of volcanoes, man, are they a violent igneous rock formation.
Mom, why are you talking about volcanoes all of a sudden?
Well, we can talk about something else. What do you want to talk about? Vivisection? The vas deferens? The Vietnam War?
Oh, did anybody see that documentary on the Korean War?
And he tries so hard to impress Charlie by memorising stuff at the museum.
I don't want her to think I'm stupid.
I feel like this video is turning into some kind of public service announcement for guys who are dating. Honestly, girls do not want you to just regurgitate facts to them. This is actually a thing. When I was traveling around the US, I used to go to every museum and art gallery that I could, and honestly, the number of times I was like, I'm so glad I'm here on my own. Because you'd see these couples walking around, and it was always the guy basically giving the woman a lecture, like, oh, blah, 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 this piece of art has this or that meaning, exactly like Ross teaches Joey to do.
Painterly lines and subtle impasto on this canvas. Monet painted quickly and usually outdoors, as his elusive subject was light itself.
Now, do you have any idea what you just said?
Girls aren't interested in being told facts about stuff. Like, we'd much rather you just had a conversation with us about what you like about the art or whatever. So, yeah. But Joey wants to impress Charlie. He wants to be seen as more intellectual than he actually is, and he's actually willing to put the work in to do that. So it's kind of a shame that it doesn't always work out the way he wants it to.
Joey really knows his art, huh?
Not so much, no. He had clearly memorized all this stuff to say, and some of it didn't even make any sense.
What do you mean?
Well, for one, he was talking about paintings that were nowhere around.
Wait a minute, when you guys walked into the Met, did you go to the right?
No, we went to the left.
Oh, Joey.
And he's able to learn from his mistakes and admit that he's wrong. So when he experiences heartbreak from the other side, when he really likes Kate, but she's not as into him, and it's like the first time he's actually gone through that, because normally it's just him doing that love them and leave them thing.
You're telling me this actress person is the only woman you ever wanted who didn't want you back?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Is this what it's like to be you?
But that one experience is enough to make him kind of go, oh, and he learns empathy and he actually bothers to call all the women he's hurt. I don't think many people would actually go that far, so bravo, Joey.
So anyway, Beth, what I'm saying is I should have considered your feelings before I went home with you that night. I've recently learned what it's like to be on your side of it, and I'm sorry. So, do you think you can forgive me? Great. Thanks. Okay. Bye.
And he also pays the male nanny, the manny, to educate him. And I think that's cool because it's never too late to learn stuff that you missed out on the first time round or when everyone else was learning it. Everyone has gaps in their education, and it's never too late to catch up.
So you see, Wiggle Munch, that's why it's important to share.
I am learning so much from you.
What's the one kind of boat that can never, ever sink?
What kind?
A friendship.
Wow, you blow my mind.
Oh, I gotta go.
Oh, how much do I owe you?
$20. Oh, it's like the cheapest college ever.
Joey is constantly aware of the fact that he may not be as smart as everyone around him, but he's determined to do his best to catch up, which is kind of adorable and sad.
I want it to sound smart, but I don't know any big words or anything, so.
Well, why don't you use your thesaurus?
What'd I just say?
Who could forget that time Monica and Chandler asked him to write a letter of recommendation to their adoption agency, and baby kangaroo Tribbiani gets a little bit carried away with his use of the thesaurus.
Some of the words a little too sophisticated for you.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, of course it does. It's smart. I used a thesaurus.
So in contrast to the misogyny that I mentioned in the last video, I think this is almost like the flip side of misogyny. It's like if you're an old-fashioned guy with old-fashioned views, obviously he does see women primarily as objects of lust that he can basically use for his own entertainment and pleasure and then just like discard them, which isn't great, but he's a gentleman in some other ways. So after Monica and Chandler's wedding, when Joey is under the impression that Phoebe is pregnant, he proposes.
It's a scary world out there, especially for a single mom. Phoebe Buffet, will you marry me?
When he finds out it's actually Rachel who's expecting a baby, he proposes.
Rachel Green, will you marry me?
What? What? What?
Now, to be fair, Ross does mention the idea of getting married to Rachel, but he's the father of the baby, so it's not that outlandish. Whereas Joey is just being a real old-fashioned gentleman. This would have first been broadcast around the early 2000s, when it was definitely not the done thing for the average guy to propose to a woman just so she wouldn't be a single mother, particularly when it was not even his baby. So this was a very unusual move, and I think it's just evidence of his upbringing in a kind of traditional Italian Catholic family. So he's kind of putting himself out there that he's willing to marry women that he's not in love with, but just he thinks that they need a husband, which is actually really sweet. When he finds out that his youngest sister is pregnant, again, he tries to make her boyfriend marry her, but he does accept that it is up to her and that she can be an independent woman and raise the baby by herself. So it's a pretty good compromise between being a traditionalist and someone who actually understands modern women. There's also this scene where he supports a total stranger through her labour, which is another sign of him just being very kind, especially to anyone he sees as a damsel in distress. I think quite a few people were hoping this lady would be brought back as his love interest at some point, and I think they would have made a really great match. They were vibing as if they'd already been married for 10 years, and I think that's the only time we really see Joey like that with anyone. But he practices what he preaches, and when he sees there's a chance she might get back together with the father of her baby, he gracefully bows out of that situation. Also, this willingness to get involved in a birth shows his growth, as he starts this episode being grossed out by the very idea of anything this messy.
But when I spoke to her, she said she'd already passed the mucus plug.
Do we have to know about that?
Joey, what are you going to do when you have a baby?
I'm gonna be in the waiting room handing out cigars.
Yes, Joey's made arrangements to have his baby in a movie from the 50s.
So he actually matures in the process of caring for somebody in need. And Joey is super sweet to Rachel while she's pregnant. He doesn't want her to move out, even though her having a baby isn't the most convenient thing for a roommate to do. And when she wants to move back in, he of course says yes straight away. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find a guy who would do that for a woman who's pregnant with someone else's baby. I mean, I know they're good friends, but you'd think he'd be like, oh, can you just call Ross? But he doesn't. He's like, yes, let's go to the hospital straight away. So he's actually a very caring and nurturing person. And I think he does see women as needing to be taken care of, which I guess some people might be like, oh, that's so old-fashioned. But he is kind of an old-fashioned guy in some ways. And I think that's actually quite endearing. So despite being known for being stupid, Joey actually has the ability to talk people round. Because some of the most pivotal moments of their life, he's actually the one who convinces people to take a different path. So we've already talked about he is the one who convinces Chandler that he needs to let a married woman go rather than try and pursue that relationship. And when Monica is depressed because she's broken up with Richard and she decides that she's going to go to a sperm bank and just have a baby that way by herself.
I don't need an actual man. Just a couple of his best swimmers.
Everyone's against it.
You can't do this, Mom. All right, if you do this, I'm gonna
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna tell Mom.
Honey, I'm sorry, but he's right. I love you, but you're crazy. What? Why?
But Joey is the one who talks her out of it, and I don't think he actually does it on purpose. I think he's being genuine. He's not trying to kind of be sneaky and manipulate her into thinking a certain way. He's just genuinely like, oh, I pictured you having this particular life. And that's what convinces her to not take that route.
So you're really doing it, huh?
Oh, yeah. Picked a guy. 37135.
He sounds nice.
Oh, I'd say so. Got brown hair and green eyes.
No kidding.
What?
I figured you would have picked a blonde guy.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I always pictured you ending up with one of those tall, smart blonde guys, named like Hoyt.
Wait.
It's a name, yeah. I saw you in this, this great house with a big pool.
Yeah? Is he a swimmer?
He's got the body for it.
I like that. What?
You guys have one of those signs that says, we don't swim in your toilet, so don't pee in our pool,
You do not have one of those signs.
Sure you do. It was a gift from me. Oh, and you have these 3 great kids.
2 girls and a boy?
Yeah.
And they wear those little water wings, and they're running around on the deck, and then Hoyt wraps this big towel around all 3 of them.
Sure. But hey, this way sounds good too.
Yeah.
Oh, Monica.
And he also talks Chandler down when it emerges that Monica was originally looking for Joey for a night of just meaningless passion.
When I went to your room that night, I was actually looking for Joey.
Obviously, Chandler is upset by this, and Joey's probably the last person he wants to see or hear from at that moment. But Joey actually succeeds in talking him round to a more kind of rational point of view.
Hey, you want this scone? It came from me, but it would probably rather sleep with you.
Come on, nothing even happened. I don't want you to be upset.
How can I not be upset? Okay, I finally fall in love with this fantastic woman, and it turns out that she wanted you first.
Yeah, for like a half an hour one night. Chandler, she wants you for the rest of her life.
And he's also the one who talks to Ross about this picture that he has of his life. And I was thinking about this. I think this is quite interesting because it's almost like he allows people to see themselves in a new way. He's like, you don't need to stick to this old picture that you have. It's okay to have a new one.
I mean, I've always had this picture of me and my next wife in bed on Sunday, and my kid comes running in and leaps up onto the bed, and we all read the paper together, Maybe fight over the science section.
Ross, maybe you need a new picture, okay? It's not gonna be what you thought, but no matter what, there's gonna be a brand new little baby. Your baby. Who cares what the picture looks like?
I think he actually has almost like a vision for people. Like, he's able to kind of go, oh, but you could do this. He just kind of talks them around to seeing things in a new way and looking at things from a new perspective, which is pretty interesting for someone who is known as the dumb one.
And there's also an interesting point made here in an episode where Phoebe has been freaking out because she's never had a long-term relationship.
I can't believe I never realized this before. I'm in my 30s and I've never been in a long-term relationship? Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Joey hasn't either, but he just takes it in his stride, pointing out that all these things we create angst about are all in our heads and pretty meaningless anyway.
You're in your 30s and you have never been in a long-term relationship. You know, you go from woman to woman, meaningless experience to meaningless experience, never even worrying that it doesn't turn into something more serious.
You're right. I love my life.
And I think that Joey doesn't just help his friends, he helps the viewers by showing that you don't have to do things a certain way or follow a particular script for your life.
And of course he cheers up Phoebe when it's her birthday and she's having a crap time, so he's just a really good friend to have around.
I haven't done any of the things I wanted to do by the time I was 31.
Like what?
Like, okay, I haven't met any Portuguese people. I haven't had the perfect kiss.
And that's one thing you can cross off your list.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and plus I'm 1/16 Portuguese.
And just one more thing, when Rachel loses Marcel the monkey, it's Joey who kind of forces Chandler to carry on looking when he just wants to give up. He does ruin it by making it all about hot girls, but you know, he has that like, no, we're not, we're gonna help our friend find his monkey.
Aren't we kind of in the middle of something here?
Yes, but these women are very hot and they need our help. And they're very hot.
We can't, all right? We're sorry. You have no idea how sorry, but we promised we'd find this monkey. If you see him, he's about yay high and answers to the name Marcel. So if we could get some pictures of you, you'd really be helping us out.
I know sometimes he goes into annoying little brother mode, like the time he wouldn't give up the chair to Chandler, but most of the time, Joey is actually the peacemaker of the group.
He is the one who just wants a quiet life.
And he doesn't want any part of all this drama that's going on around him. So like when
Chandler is adamant that they're not going to
give the girls their apartment, Joey's just like, well, we could just give it back, it's fine. Like he doesn't, like he's perfectly happy whichever apartment he lives in, it doesn't really matter to him.
No, thank you. Wait. Come on, let's trade. The timing's perfect. I just clogged the toilet.
Look, I want those basketball seats as much as you do, okay? But we can't live in the small apartment after we've lived here. No, we're not gonna do that. You know why? Because it's not an even trade. We are switching back right now.
No, we're not. We're not leaving.
Well, you're gonna have to leave sometime because you both have jobs, and as soon as you do, we're switching it back. There's nothing you can do to stop us. Right, Joe?
I don't know. What? I don't want to move again.
And he doesn't want to get involved in all the shenanigans about like revealing Monica and Chandler's secret love affair.
Phoebe just found out about Monica and Chandler.
You mean how they're friends and nothing more?
You know, every time that they say they're like doing laundry, we'll just give them a bunch of laundry to do. Like, oh, I would enjoy that.
Oh, no. No, wait, you know what would be even more fun? Telling them.
I'm sorry. But hey, it's over now, right? Because you can tell them you know they know, and I can go back to knowing absolutely nothing.
Unless...
No, not unless. Look, this must end now. Oh, man, aren't you guys done yet? I want to sit in my chair.
He's just like, I just want to sit in my chair. He's like a sweet old man.
And I think there's a lot to be said for just enjoying the simple things in life and being easy to please.
What's not to like? Custard? Good. Jam? Good. Meat? Good.
So Joey is the one to break the story
about Chandler and Monica. And they would actually have been caught a zillion times, wouldn't they? Because no one has any privacy. Everyone's always just opening the, unlocked doors into the apartments. But Joey is the one who figures it out. And yes, he has had a few more clues than the others at that point, like really specific clues.
I heard you saw Donald Trump at your convention.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for an elevator. Hey, Rach, can I borrow your eyelash curler? I think I lost mine.
Yeah, it's in the bathroom.
Talk to you for a second.
But I still can't believe that he would be the first one to put clues together, because there would have been lots of other little clues along the way, wouldn't there? It would have been like, what are you doing? Like, why are you two always coming out of each other's bedrooms? Like, what's going on here? Rachel finds out because she literally catches them, whereas Joey puts it together. So he is not as dumb as he sometimes appears to be. So he does use his cunning to get women, basically. So we covered this in the last video where he goes on a double date with Monica, but he tells her that she's on a date with the other guy. That's pretty clever. Like, it almost works.
And it's pretty quick thinking to throw water on another guy's crotch so that he has to leave, so then Joey has a chance with Janine.
So maybe everybody has an area in their life where they're really smart, and Joey's is women.
Mind-blowing lectures. Dr. Geller, you are definitely the hottie of the paleontology department.
Who wrote it?
Oh, I wish I knew, but the evaluations are all anonymous.
Hey, do you still have their final exams?
Yeah.
Oh, because you could just match the evaluation to the exam with the same handwriting, and boom, there's your admirer.
A hot girl's at stake, and all of a sudden, he's Rain Man.
He's also very quick thinking at times, and it's almost like he thinks in a simpler way than everyone else, but quite often the simplest solution is the best one, and that can be forgotten by people who are trying hard to be more intellectual. Like the time not even the handyman knew how to fix the radiator that was stuck on the hottest temperature.
Hey, Monica, the knob was broken, so I just turned it off from underneath. I hope that's all right.
Or the time that Rachel's parents needed to be kept separate and Joey came up with a unique solution.
Well, then I guess we're going back into the hallway again.
Thanks for coming, Mrs. Green.
We're stuck up on the roof and we can't get down!
Ross. I was thinking we'd just go down the fire escape.
Well, who serves steak when there's no place to sit? I mean, how are you supposed to eat this?
Hey, what's up?
We wanted to kiss at midnight, but nobody else is going to, so, you know.
All right. I'll take care of it.
Oh, no.
Joey,
33, 32,
Ross,
31.
Ross, listen. Who are you kissing at midnight, huh? Rachel or Phoebe?
What?
Well, you gotta kiss someone. Can't kiss your sister.
Well, who's gonna kiss my sister?
Chandler.
Oh, man, really?
Dude, who would you rather have kiss your sister, me or Chandler?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, since I have that whole history with Rachel, I guess Phoebe.
Okay, great.
All right.
Phoebes. Listen, Ross wants to kiss you at midnight.
It's so obvious. Why doesn't he just ask?
Rach, listen, I'm gonna kiss you at midnight.
What?
Boy, everyone's gotta kiss someone. Can't kiss Ross, you got the history.
So?
So, who would you rather have kissing you, me or Chandler?
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
And also when, at this kind of pivotal scene when Rachel knows that they've written something about her, he's the one who says, why don't you read it to her?
Yes, it is a short story that I was writing.
In a minute? Well, let me read it.
No!
Come on!
Hey, why don't you read it to her?
And if the others had been as quick-witted as that, it would have been fine. So Joey almost saved the day, but not quite. Joey always wants people to know that he appreciates them, so he buys Chandler a bracelet, which Chandler does not appreciate. And yes, maybe you should check out someone's personal style before you buy things that clearly aren't their style, but the thought was there. He wanted to be bracelet buddies.
This is a little extra something for, always being there for me.
Wow, I don't know what to say. Wow, I don't know what to say.
It's engraved, too. Check it out.
To my best bud.
And yes, he does take a lot of money from Chandler that he never pays back.
And I feel kind of bad now for emphasising in my last video how he always took money from Chandler with no intention of paying it back. Because although he was pretty naughty in that area, here is an example of one occasion where he did at least make an attempt at repaying his debt.
$812. Well, I don't know what Big Leon told you, but it's an even 1,000 if you want me for the whole night. What is this for?
Well, I'm making money now, and this is paying you back for headshots, electric bills, and so many slices of pizza I can't even count. I love you, man.
Well, thanks, man.
He does take Chandler to the premiere when one of the women would have looked much better on his arm, you know, much more glamorous to take a date to a premiere where your picture is being taken. But he takes his best friend. So that's pretty special, I think. Also, he feels so guilty about his attraction to Rachel because of Ross. And he is like, I won't go there if you don't want me to. I kind of think this, like, oh, you know, if you veto it, then I won't do it thing is kind of silly, honestly. If two people want to be together and then somebody else doesn't want them to be together, I don't think their wishes should override the actual couple involved, but that's just me. Maybe I'm a bad friend. But he feels so guilty and he's just like, I won't do it if you don't want me to, which is kind of going above and beyond, really.
So he's loyal to his friends almost to a fault. And we've talked about how he doesn't need to try with women, unlike Chandler and Ross, who both resort to things like intercepting messages left for other men, Chandler, or pretending to be a masseuse, Ross. Joey pretty much relies on his good looks and charms to get women, but it's interesting to note that the only time he actually makes more of a connection and is with a woman he actually likes, things end because of his friends. So we have Kathy, who fell for Chandler, and to be fair, they were more suited to each other. Ditto Charlie realises that Ross is a better match for her. Rachel can't get past her past with Ross. And Janine, quite understandably, doesn't want to be in a relationship with a guy who is essentially in a codependent relationship with his friendship group. Honestly, if you were dating a guy who lived next door to his friends and when you saw them one night they immediately wanted to make plans for the next night, I think most of us would be seeing red flags there. So basically Joey's loyalty to his friends is what makes him unlucky in love.
They're like my best friends. Are you saying we can't hang out with them? Because that'd be kind of a problem.
No, of course we can still hang out with them. Just, you know, not 2 nights in a row.
And obviously Phoebe and Joey have a very special bond. He's always kind of looking out for her. If he hurts her feelings, he will apologise profusely. Like the time I think we've talked about in the
previous video where he ditched her for a date. But when she explains how hurt she is, he's very apologetic. And volunteering to give up meat so that she can have the meat
that she's craving in pregnancy, I think that's very kind of him.
He also wishes that Chandler would get the promotion that he wants rather than wishing for a lottery win. And he's very sincere about it, like he really kind of believes that that's what did it.
I didn't wish we would win the lottery. I wished you'd get the job.
Oh, yeah?
He's also the kind of guy who will just hire a Superman costume when necessary.
Merry Christmas!
And yes, I did want you to notice what he's wearing and what I'm wearing.
When they were all over you to go into your father's pipe fitting business, did you cave?
No.
No. You decided to go into the out-of-work actor business.
Joey does not give up on his dreams. He's a struggling actor. Obviously, I think most people are struggling unless you're in the like 0.1% of luckiest actors in the world. You're not going to get your big break straight away. And if you look at big stars, they've always got loads of embarrassing jobs in their past because that's just how it works. Like even in real life, Jennifer Aniston was in a leprechaun horror film. So Joey is in this position where he's working his way up and he's doing, you know, posters for diseases and things. He's doing all these terrible jobs. He does not give up.
Take good care of your mama, son. Come on, son. Mama's good people.
Alex.
Ichiban, lipstick for men.
Folks, if this ever happened to you, you go to the refrigerator to get a nice glass of milk, but these darn cartons are so flinging hard to open.
Well, you said it, Mike.
Oh. There's got to be a better way. And there is, Kevin.
Can we please turn this off?
No way, Kevin.
There's a revolutionary new product that guarantees you'll never have to open up milk cartons again. Meet the Milkmaster 2000.
Are you intrigued?
You're flinging right I am.
So that's why I feed my dog Purina One. Pick up a bag today.
That's where you pick up the bag.
Exactly.
And it does pay off. I mean, he gets kind of his big break when he's cast in Days of Our Lives, and then he loses that job. But then he creates a comeback for himself, so he does not give up. And you'd have to really love acting to do all that. You know, most people, if they were like, oh, I like the idea of being a film star, like if they did a few years of struggling and doing telemarketing and stuff in between, they might be like, you know what, it's not happening, I'm not going to do it. So to continue taking all those crappy jobs
just in the hope that it will get you satisfying roles where you get to show off your acting chops or whatever, that would take a
lot of dedication, and Joey does it. Chandler almost takes on the role of a parent in some ways, because I think a lot of people who want to pursue careers in the arts, it doesn't always start making money straight away, and you might be working loads but not making very much money because it's not very well paid. So Chandler almost kind of takes on a parenting role, which maybe Joey wouldn't have been able to do quite as much if he hadn't had that like dad person in the background. Or maybe his parents help him out as well, I don't know. But Joey does, he just keeps persevering and he won't give up, and it pays off. And that is why Joey is the best friend. So thank you for joining me today. I really enjoyed hanging out with you, and thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Look out for more Friends content coming soon. We've still got lots of them to cover, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. And thank you for liking the video. Thank you for thank you for